Welcome back.
Nick and Lex here.
Hello, everyone.
How is it going, guys? So tonight we're gonna review or talk about the movie called The Greatest Night in Pop.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And we just watched it. I watched it twice. Honestly, I watched it yesterday night, and I just wanted to see what it was about. I mean, I've heard, of course, about the We Are the World, about the song and everything. And I'd seen some pictures, and I know some people that were involved. I think I only knew Michael Jackson and Ray Charles at the time.
Okay.
And but I saw it, and then I watched 5 minutes, and then I was like, okay, I have to watch this whole thing. So I woke up Alexia today, and I was like, hey, we have to watch this documentary.
And
it's
we did.
Amazing. We did. But oh my God. So so how do we even start this thing?
Okay, so yes, background for me too was I had also listened to the song. I knew the song. I don't remember when was the first time I heard it or anything, but I definitely knew, and I knew that it was a project to end hunger in Africa. So yeah, that's what I knew.
I love that they explain that.
Yes.
Like the whole how it became to be Harry Belafonte. Right?
Yes, exactly.
He wanted to raise awareness. And Bob Geldof had already done a concert with Sting and Bono and
the band Aid.
Yeah, and it was who I recognized: Bono, Sting,
Phil Collins.
I think it was more people from Britain,
right?
And then he wanted to. This one was all about the Americans,
right?
The top
and also
artists.
It was important to them that it was. Since they were African American, to raise awareness for African Americans.
Yes,
because
exactly.
he said,
well, not for Africa, African Americans for Africa.
Yes, because he said, the white people are doing stuff to end hunger. Like, we got to do something too, So, it was amazing just to hear the story of how it all came together and how quickly they had to work with it, because at first I said, okay, this is going to be awesome. They're getting all these people together, and I like how one person would lead to another, oh, we've got Kenny Rogers, maybe we can get this.
But it's crazy how it started. So basically, the producer had the idea, and he's like, okay, I need Quincy Jones as the composer, because he's still the master, right?
The master.
And then we're gonna get Lionel Richie and Stevie Wonder. And then they didn't get Stevie Wonder, so they went with Michael Jackson, which was, I think, also a great. Yeah. I mean, it's Michael Jackson, and so I guess they had this trio then. Got also, and then Stevie Wonder 3 weeks later.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you already
so let's
made
write the song. Yeah, and he's like, we already wrote it.
For me, what was amazing was, okay, I thought, wow, all these people are going to come together. That's awesome. But I never thought about how difficult it would be to coordinate all of these people's schedules who are active musicians on tour or recording an album or traveling or with family, like just to coordinate my friends and I to get together. Like, it's hard with all of our calendars. And so I can only imagine that part. And then when they said they were going to take advantage of the American Music Awards, it was like,
that was insane.
But then they had a deadline. Then there was a date.
Yeah. But also, like, they had to compose the song. And first, Michael and Lionel, they were like, well, we'll just we'll get it done. But and then he's just like, and then we sat down, and it was just magic. I love how that happened. And because Quincy Jones was like, yeah, I need the song. Like, if I don't have a song, then don't even.
We have all these people. It's not just you guys anymore.
The pressure was on.
That was a lot of pressure for them. But just to be able to bring that together, and then, I don't know, send the demo out within 4 days of the recording date, sending the demo out via FedEx, overnight delivery. Like,
I know.
The artists, any of them didn't have any time to prepare or rehearse.
They had to learn the song right there, and then it's the way it's shot is just amazing, and all the all the behind the scenes, I guess, that we didn't know about, or maybe we did. You know, some people maybe did, because it's, I mean, 1985.
Yeah.
But our love, I mean, there's so many artists that I didn't know that I
Exactly.
recognized
Yes.
now. Like, for
Because
example,
of
the
the
boss,
channel. Yeah.
Lionel Richie. I didn't know about him. Stevie Wonder a little bit. You know, I'm reading them off a list.
Yeah.
Paul Simon, I did know. Kenny Rogers, nothing. Tina Turner, I did know. Billy Joel, I didn't know. Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. I met
Dionne Warwick.
on the channel here. Yeah, like
Big
BMAC,
one.
you know, RG. I got requests. Willie
Kenny
Nelson.
Loggins, like
Yeah, we met all these people on the channel.
exactly. I was gonna say that how meaningful it was to be able to watch this documentary at this point in our lives.
Yeah.
If we would have seen this 10 years ago,
I
we would
wouldn't
have said, "Oh, that's
I would have
awesome."
been like, yeah, cool, Michael
cool
Jackson.
story, but like I know 4 of these people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we were also like, we were bawling at the end. We were really like, because you see a list of all the people that are, you know, are now no
have
longer
passed.
with us.
And then Belafonte just passed
last year,
and
yes.
we were like, wow, he's worked with so many people, you know, like through so many different generations of musics and style, and wow, just
Yeah.
and Quincy too, you know, he's
Oh my God,
still-
Quincy's still
yeah.
with us, you know, and but I mean, just I love the setup of the movie. Like, you know, Lionel Richie basically narrates it. Also, it was Willie. No, it wasn't Willie Nelson who did a lot of narration was done by. Let's see. I got him right here. Lionel Richie
Huey
and then
Lewis.
Cindy Lauper had a
Mhm.
lot of close-ups.
Yeah.
And then also the camera guy, you know, the cameraman, the people in the studio.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones, I don't know why he wasn't. There was some voiceover that
Yeah,
he spoke
but
about.
from older footage.
Older footage, yeah. Maybe it was just like he's like, oh, I'm good, you know.
But then it's like it builds up. The tension is so strong, you know, throughout the whole thing. At first, you're like, oh, cool, this is great.
Yeah, when they're all
You know,
together in
like-
the room,
yeah.
when they're finally there. But the thing that you wanted to talk about, the speech of Bob Geldof.
Exactly. Yeah, but that I'm leading to that because I want to talk about how the pacing of the documentary is so perfect to where like it just first you're all excited that this is happening and then you're like, oh my god, everyone's got their own ideas, like they don't want to cooperate with each other.
The egos are kicking in. Yeah.
So what I liked was how Quincy wrote that sign and put it outside the door. Check your egos at the door, you know, and that's so strong.
That must have been insane.
But what really got their egos down was Bob Geldof's speech.
Yeah.
Like prepping them and saying, okay, we're all here. You're in positions. You're about to sing next to all of these great people who you grew up with and admired, or maybe, you know, and then, but
it's
this
not
is why you're here.
Yeah, this
like,
is not about you. This
Yeah.
is for these people. And then the speech where he says like nothing is like not having water. That's what's not
right.
That's
because he tells them, I don't know if you can conceive not having nothing.
Yeah.
But nothing is not having water.
I know.
Like,
and
that's
we just were like, whoa. So he put them all in check.
Yes.
He would I think that's when their egos dropped, you know?
Yes.
It was just insane. Like I think the easiest part was just to get the chorus down, everybody, you know, on one octave.
Yes.
And people were like, no, I'm gonna harmonize. And Quincy was like, no, you're just gonna sing the octave. If you don't get there, don't sing. I love that. You know how he kind of held them in check. And we're talking about Tina Turner and you know, like Michael Jackson,
Diana Ross.
Billy Joel. It's just insane. And then I love the chorus. We have Dan Aykroyd just literally coming out off of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He had his height of like super famous, like Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters. He was so like down to earth.
Humble. Just
he was like he's like, I don't even belong here.
Yeah,
you know? He's like,
but obviously the character number one that stuck out for us was Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
His strange demeanor, his uncomfortable.
He was so
just
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He was not.
And I
happy.
didn't know that about. I knew he was.
Like a strange,
like unique,
character.
like had a very unique personality. But I thought that was a little bit of a persona, you know, but I thought, oh, maybe with other people and other musicians, he'll be all like, hey, man.
Yeah.
And then he
was
just
so
wasn't.
out of
He
his
was just
element.
like standing there like, oh,
Like, what am I
God.
doing here?
Yeah. What am I supposed to sing now? Like, nobody's giving me any instruction.
I know.
Like,
It was so
wow.
it was humbling for him, I think, and it was because all these people have all these voices, and everybody took their solos, you know, and that's the point where I wanted to get to, that we could talk about all the solos, you know. So I think the first solo was Lionel Richie. He starts off the song wonderfully. And we haven't reacted to the video. That's going to be the second video after this. So stay tuned. We're going to put video 2. I can't even imagine.
I know.
Because even at the end, I was like, okay, pause it when the song started. So I know it's Lionel Richie, but just throughout the movie, well, everybody takes their solos, right? And it was also some, like, they wanted Prince, but he was like, and he was very on top. I mean,
and that was the other thing. Since it was the night of the American Music Awards, there was a lot of healthy or unhealthy at some points competition between different people, and he won, and I was also running up for that one.
Michael Jackson wasn't even, like, he didn't even say anything, like, because Prince won against, it was When Doves Cry against Thriller, which is crazy, and Prince won. And he still didn't go, you know? He didn't go.
But
he wanted to play a guitar solo.
And because there's so many people, and he wasn't comfortable.
Yeah, he wasn't going to be comfortable.
But yeah, and also, I don't know, for me, it was just putting all of these people together, and it also just brings such a, like you said, like a humbling environment to everyone, because yes, you're great, but right now you're a part of something bigger, and you have to share the spotlight a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So that must have been a challenge in and of itself, to share with other people, and then so different, you know, like Bruce Springsteen and Cyndi Lauper and Steve Perry and Bob Dylan, you know, like they're all got their styles, and it all came together so well.
You know who I loved, especially Stevie Wonder. I'm really a huge fan of after we did that full album, because he was he was always funny. He would mess up on purpose just to break the ice. He took Ray Charles to the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, he's blind and he takes Ray Charles to the bathroom. That was hilarious.
And I liked when they were like, oh, we couldn't have any downtime at all because you have some troublemakers in the room. Like Stevie Wonder is a troublemaker. And if you have too much downtime, like there's fooling around.
Because Stevie Wonder wanted to incorporate some like African, you know, lines, you know, and I don't know the dialect, you know, but it was even like this guy left, you know, Waylon Jennings, he left. I'm sure that impacted his career. Even back in the 80s, imagine he was just like perceived like, hey, you know, come on.
And they didn't even incorporate
they didn't even use it. Yeah.
So it's
but I love how kind of like Bob Dylan was like, hey, Stevie, help me out. Played one more time. And then Stevie Wonder literally mimicked Bob Dylan's way of singing. Like, there's a choice we're making. You know, this whole
and
like...
That
and that's when he like Bob Dylan, see the smile on his face, and he nailed it. He incorporated his line, and I was like, because that's what he needed to do. Like, I love how Stevie Wonder knew exactly how Bob Dylan... He just
needed to hear himself among all these other people. Where do I fit in? How do I come in? Like, am I supposed to try to do what they're doing or still do my own thing?
Yeah,
you know?
I love... I mean, I think we shouldn't get into all the different solos, but because all of them are beautiful. Yeah. But... I think once we do the reaction to the thing, but I mean, we did see some
the one I loved that I have to talk about was Steve Perry.
Oh my God.
With who was it? Bruce? No. Steve Perry.
It was wait a minute. I know which one. What the one that you're talking about?
Oh, Steve Perry, Daryl Hall.
And Cyndi Lauper, those three.
No.
But there was one before.
No. It was Kenny
Loggins, and then Steve Perry comes in, and then Cyndi Lauper.
Because they're in order.
And then they harmonize. And also this who was she?
Kim Carnes.
Yeah. Kim Carnes that solo, and then when Cindy's like, yeah, 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 yeah.
That part
That was so
amazing.
good, and I love that
Yes.
first there was all this feedback and all this noise because it was all
All
of
her Steve Perry was like, something's going on there with the harmonizing, and it's causing something weird. Like it sounds like people talking, and it was all her accessories. I also wanted to say earlier, and I forgot. What was amazing too is like it took 10 hours, this whole thing, right? Because they started at 10
and they
everyone
left
was
at
home
8.
by 8, they said. So in 10 hours to create something that has never been rehearsed with over how many 40 people involved,
they all had to
with
learn
the
the
heat
song.
in the room, from the lighting, and then you just see the clock keeps going and going, and it's like, oh my gosh. But you're not only recording a song, you're also recording the video. So you have to look good, you have to act right.
But they didn't have any makeup on. That's what I love. They just looked rough, and at the end they're all like tired.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we saw in the video. I don't know the final product. Obviously, it has filters and the music. But what I love about this documentary or this movie is that we heard the rough versions.
Yes.
We haven't heard the full.
No. And I've heard it in my lifetime, but I've
me
never
too.
heard it
But I
like
don't
this with
remember.
headphones, analyzing it with the backstory that I know now. I'm so excited.
But we were so like, and then even we didn't know that this, I mean, once everybody was home, and I love also how Lionel Richie was putting everybody like, he was saying like, I was putting out fires.
Little fires,
you know,
everywhere.
I was like a little bit there, and then I would come here and make a joke here and go there. He's such an amazing guy. I didn't know. I just fell in love with that song All Night Long.
I know.
And that was literally the soundtrack of last year's summer, and I didn't even know about Lionel Richie.
I didn't either. I
had heard that song in a movie, Fifth Element, remember? All Night Long.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, it must be a song. But then when we finally heard the real, like the full version, and then there's a longer version. But just Lionel Richie, first of all, he won like 6 awards that night. At the
was hosting the American Music Awards.
Winning.
Won 6 awards.
And then he did We Are the World, which is just insane. You see and that's why we were like so bummed out, because he came to Denver and we missed him.
With Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
And we missed him.
Biggest regret. And Tower of Power, missing Tower of Power. But we're going to see him next time he comes. But I mean, you have to watch this movie. If you know, I mean, you guys love music. If you don't have Netflix, I don't want to make a commercial for Netflix, but I mean,
it's worth it to find a way to watch it. Yeah, for sure.
It's worth it. Like, I'm not saying, hire Netflix because it's just like a 90-hour movie, but it's worth it. Or maybe wait until you can see.
Movie.
What did I?
90 hours.
Oh, God.
And like, I wish. Oh, and then at the end, when everyone's going home and everyone's leaving, Diana Ross starts crying, and I don't want this to be over. Like, I felt that so much, because that's like how I am when I'm having fun and everyone's together and there's peace and love and everything. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go home.
I know. Like, it felt like this amazing get together, this party, and like Al Jarreau, had a little bit too much to drink, so he was having trouble with his lines. It's just so special. But I love just like how Lionel Richie got this thing and pulled it off with Michael Jackson and like these amazing artists, Tina Turner. It's just so sad at the end when you see how many people are gone. You know,
but at the same time, it's wow, they left a big footprint, Like,
and I love that they released the song 3 months later at the same time everywhere in the world at the same hour. That's amazing.
That's
that they
really
pulled that off.
Wonderful. Yeah. Imagine the energy of the world.
And they inspired other stuff to happen, like the ones like Live Aid with Queen, the famous. I mean, there's so many.
And then Live 8 was after that.
And then there's even the metal one, which it's called We're Stars.
Oh yeah.
Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Yngwie Malmsteen, Spinal Tap, Twisted Sister. There's all these artists, we should watch that one too.
Yeah. But what I was telling Nick too is like, when the song was released, I can imagine, I mean, a lot of people were able to watch the video at the same time, but like, let's say you were at work and you couldn't watch the video at that moment. You were just listening on the radio. You were catching on, right? You probably heard that this was coming out, like, oh my God, this song's going to be released and Tina Turner's in it. And I heard Michael Jackson's in it. And, you just hear, but you don't have the full lineup, obviously. So when you're listening and you're like, oh, did you hear that? I think that was Willie Nelson. Oh, that was Dionne Warwick. I'm sure, so
Paul Simon.
like you could, every time you would listen, you would catch new voices.
I love the line that they gave Paul Simon because, and what I love about this whole thing is that everybody kept their style.
Yes.
The way they sing, the way they portray
Exactly.
music, like Paul Simon sounded exactly like every Paul Simon. And then with the harmony that Kenny Rogers was giving him, he sounded like Simon and Garfunkel.
The way that they put that together, like they didn't even know, they were all invited and they didn't even know how they were going to be arranging them. That's amazing.
And who's going to stand with who?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they figured that out the day before or something.
Yes, I don't, yeah.
So it's amazing, and how they took advantage of the American Music Awards, and how everyone had the energy to still be there and give their best. It's like,
crazy.
it's very...
Oh yeah, another one that was another one who was narrating was The Boss.
Yes,
The Boss, which is really cool because he's such a cool dude and he was big. And he's like, yeah, I was big at that time. You know?
I was on top of the world.
I was on top of the world, and then he's still that humbleness to be there. That says so much about.
He had just finished his tour the day before, and they're like, he never flies after the tour, and there he was. So it's wonderful how everyone came together. Everyone, volunteered their time, and that nobody got paid. And to this day, the song keeps raising money, and it's great. So listen to the song on Spotify, put it on repeat, give it at least a couple plays, and try to support this because it's still a thing.
Our reaction video is going to be making money
for them. Yes.
Which is awesome. Yes. So that's why we wanted to include it in a separate video. We're going to basically, once this video is over, it's going to say, watch our reaction. And I can't wait to do it. So I think we've talked enough about the movie. I mean, we've hyped it up pretty much, but it was just amazing experience, great footage, great stuff that I guess hadn't been released, and to see it also in this amazing quality, because the cameras they had were,
capable of
VHS, I guess. I mean, it's not like in 4K, but it's still a great. I just don't know. I can't believe how they put that all together in the end,
I'm excited to see the video, knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out, guys. Thank you for watching this. If this is your first time watching us, welcome. Check out our other reactions and stuff of how we came to find all of these amazing artists. There's a story behind our journey. Check it out. Give us a like, subscribe. We would love to see you all in the next one.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.